Before everybody was born, everybody was nobody. Nobody had a specific body, nobody had a specific personality, nobody had a specific worldview, nobody had a specific intelligence, nobody had a specific religion, nobody had a specific ideology. In other words, when nobody exists, there are no differences, because if nobody exists, you can't compare anyone with anyone else. And so there are no problems. Non existence equals absolute peace. But from the moment a bunch of people are born, every single person will be different. Of course, everybody must be different in order to exist. Every person will have a unique body, a unique personality, a unique intelligence, a unique worldview, etc. So the key word here is difference. The fact that we are all different has big consequences when it comes to morality. If there existed no differences between you and me, we would become one and the same person. We would literally unify into one single person. So it would become impossible to distinguish you from me. So in this way, we would never be able to compete, because in order to compete, you need two different persons. But the reality is that we are two different persons. And the thing with us human beings is that we are always comparing our differences with each other, and we are trying to make some kind of hierarchy in terms of efficiency or quality or value. For example, you might have blue eyes and I have brown/greenish eyes. Now, it won't take long before somebody will make the statement that blue-eyed people are inherently better than brown-eyed people. And then the brown-eyed people will be like, hey, fuck you, that's bullshit. We are just as valuable as blue-eyed people. We are all equal. I demand to be treated equally. Now, in a way, this is pretty childish because children, for example, are very sensitive when it comes to differences. For example, when a child receives a small toy gun and his brother gets to play with a large toy gun, of course he will cry because he also wants to play with the large toy gun. And in this way, you could describe the situation as a form of inequality. The child will probably say that this is unfair. Here is another example. One child gets to eat an apple and the other child gets to eat a banana. Now, of course, now one of the kids might go like, bananas are better than apples. And the other child goes like, no, apples are way better than bananas. And before you know it, they are in a fight. Now, anyway, I'm just trying to point out that pretty much any fight is caused by the simple existence of difference. From the moment two things are different, we will almost always put them somewhere in the hierarchy of value. We will prefer one thing above the other. It will become difficult to like two different things with exactly the same amount of value. Another example, I have a specific haircut and you have a specific haircut. Now, which one is better? Does it matter? Well, some people will go like, I like your haircut, but I don't like that person's haircut. But maybe that person will be offended and he or she will demand the right to be treated equally. And so I'm just trying to point out the irony of our desire to pursue equality. We all want to be treated equally, but the creation of every single human being implies the creation of difference. And the creation of difference implies our subjective impulses in the sense that we create a subjective hierarchy of value. We automatically have specific preferences. We like one thing above the other. We prefer one specific type of sex partner above the other. We prefer one specific type of music above the other. We prefer one specific type of employee above the other. And so, of course, in this way, certain groups of people will be put down. will be devalued, and of course they will demand to be treated with the same amount of value as everyone else. And then of course we are dealing with inequality. Now let's think of a world in which absolute equality actually exists. A world in which everybody is treated with the same amount of value. Now, how is that going to be possible? We are subjective beings. We have preferences. We will find one painting more beautiful than the other. But theoretically, in a perfect, equal world, you must find every painting equally beautiful. You must find everything equally valuable. And if you downgrade someone or someone's belief or something that someone has created, then that person will almost always try to rationalize it to justify the value of it. For example, I can say that I don't like the music of Billie Eilish because of this and this and this reason as an argument. Now, of course, a lot of people, or should I say teenagers, will disagree with me and give me a bunch of counter arguments to explain why her music is awesome. Now, of course, there is a difference between stating a personal subjective opinion and stating a claim as if it were objectively true. There is a difference between I don't like the music of Billie Eilish and the music of Billie Eilish is actually bad. Now, the idea behind equality is that we should respect everybody's subjective opinion. So people who like Billie Eilish and people who don't like Billie Eilish should be able to respect each other and live peacefully next to each other. Now, is that possible? No, of course not. Give me a break. Now, here's the weird thing. Here's the weird thing. If we all have the right to have a personal opinion, and we all should respect each other's opinion with an equal amount of respect, then the value of an opinion as such becomes worthless. Because if you equalize an opinion as such, then it neutralizes. It becomes perfectly neutral. An opinion as such will neither be good or bad. It will neither be upvoted nor downvoted. It will neither be liked nor disliked, because if you like one opinion more than the other, or you dislike an opinion more than the other, then it won't be equal anymore. Because people with a different opinion also have the right to express their opinion, so their opinions have equal value. But if you want to value one opinion more than another opinion, then everybody has to value that opinion just as much as you in order to sustain perfect equality. So in a perfect, equalized society, everybody will become absolutely neutral. Nothing will be liked or disliked, nothing will be valued or devalued, nothing will be beautiful or ugly, nothing will be glorified or critiqued. In other words, people will stop having an opinion at all. Subjectivity will cancel itself out. That's what will happen if everything contains equal value. Value as such will cancel itself out when it balances or when it equalizes. And the same goes for any duality. If a duality equalizes, then the duality will cancel itself out and it will stop existing. So that's the paradox of equality. We pursue equality. We want everything to be treated with the same amount of value. But once everything actually is equalized, absolutely so, then it will cancel itself out and it will no longer exist. The duality between valuing and devaluing will balance and cancel themselves out into the non-existence of value. So in this sense, we are actually pursuing the ultimate end of value as such. Absolute equality is self-defeating. It destroys itself when it equalizes. Because life itself is inherently unequal. If you want absolute equality, then realize that life itself will destroy itself. Because absolute equality can only be accomplished when you are unable to do anything or to say anything that can possibly create even a minuscule negative experience for someone else. Because even a minuscule negative experience can be a sign of inequality. So that's why absolute equality will destroy you entirely. Because every little bit of you can potentially be negative for someone else. That's why nobody can exist in a world of absolute equality. And that's precisely why I support antinatalism. If nobody can exist in a world of equality, then nobody should exist at all. Thanks for listening.